Okay, I have started this video with Ivan, and we are going to work through these. How do you say this? Are they called Keogh plans? Keogh plans. Okay, so our first example is going to be from page, and you know what? Automatically, I don't like that, so I'm going to break that down. So we're going to start on page 118 of your book, and we're going to do the example that has able in it, okay? All right. So we have Abel is self-employed as a private contractor and a professor of financial planning. He earned $180,000. $180,000 after all expenses. He wants to figure out the maximum he can contribute to his self-employment plan. So we're looking for the maximum contribution to his self-employment plan. Okay, SEP is how they abbreviate that in your question. Okay, so 180,000. First step is to take that and multiply it by 92.35%. So we're going to go ahead over here and we're going to take 180,000 and we're going to multiply that by 92.35%. Now, percent means out of 100, which is the same thing as saying multiply by 92.35 out of 100. And you probably already remember this because we've done a few examples, but it won't hurt to put this back in the video, right? Okay, so 92.35 out of 100, and I'm wondering why I can't scroll up here. Okay, back out. Back that. I'm not sure why I can't go back. Okay, here. There we go. So this gives me 180,000. I don't want that comma there. Multiplied by, now out of 100. Out of means divided by. This little phrase here means divided by 100. So if you are going, let me just write that then, 92.35 divided by 100. If you're going to take 92.35 and divide it by 100, Ivan, what do you have to do with that decimal? And what do you get? Okay, I can put the 0 here, or I don't need to put the 0 there. It's a wasted space, okay? So I usually don't type it because every extra thing I type is just room to make an error. So, however, if you type 0.9235 in your calculator and a 0 shows up there, it means the same thing. So we do this and we end up getting $166,230. Good job. Okay, now we have to ask ourselves, is this over what magic number? Right. Is this more than $132,900? And the answer is yes. So we have a two-part calculation coming up. Good. Now the first part of that calculation is a certain percentage. Do you remember what it is? 12.4% of anything up to, I'm just going to write anything up to, and there's that 132.9. So 12.4% of anything up to 132.9. And then we also have a 2.9% of that 132.9, which is, what do we call that? I don't even know what we call that. We have a name for that? I think we call it the net earnings subject to tax. and I'm going to say self-employment, and then I'll say tax, okay? SE for self-employment. Okay, now eventually we'll have something called the adjusted net earnings, okay? But this is the net earnings subject to self-employment tax. So let's do this calculation. We're going to do 12.4%. We're going to multiply that by $132,900. And that is going to give us a total of, and I hope I don't, yeah, I might as well do it, okay. So change 12.4% to a decimal for me. What? So 0.124 multiplied by 132,900. Of course, you don't put the comma or the dollar sign in when you're typing in your calculator. So this is the same thing as 16,400. Good job. All right, that takes care of that piece. And now I need to do the 2.9% of the net earnings subject to tax. So the net earnings was that 166,230 right here. Okay, this is the net earnings. This right here is the net earnings subject to self-employment tax. Okay, which is this right here. Yes. True. The 132.9 is going to be embedded in the 166,230. Yep, not the 180. Yeah, yeah, that was tricky. And when you look on the workbook, and it tells you that it's 2.9% of income, of total income, or something like that. It says, I can't remember what it said. Do you remember? Yeah. See, that's weird, huh? All taxable income, it should say. Yep. Yeah. So I don't know if you like this or not, Ivan, but it's kind of like everybody has to pay a 15.3% tax of anything up to 132.9, but over 132.9 is only 2.9%. Okay. All right. So you see right here, when we pay the 12.4% on anything up to 132.9, and then we pay the 2.9% of all of the self-employment earnings that are subject to tax. The self-employment earnings that are subject to tax here, that's $166,230. And that includes, because it's over, it includes the 132.9. Right. So you're paying tax on the 132.9 twice, really. You're paying the 12.4% on it, but you're also paying the 2.9% on it. Okay. But then you have to pay the 2.9% on anything over 13 or 132,900. Yep. Okay. So that works. Okay. So let's get the 2.9% of anything over, which is, this is the 2.9% of, and I won't say of, I'll say times And we'll put that $166,230 that was. Okay, you want to bring that back up? Very good. Okay. So I'm going to put, can you change, well, you obviously know how to do it, but change 2.9% into a decimal for calculation purposes. Right. So you can just take this decimal right here and just go over 1. That's fine. But in order to go over 2, I'm going to need a space holder. Okay. And you multiply that by the $166,230. And that you said was 4,000. Beautiful. So I now have both of these taxes. I need to add them together. Okay. So if I add these together, that's going to end up giving me $21,300.27. And this is the self-employment tax. So somebody who makes $180,000 is automatically going to pay the $21,300 as self-employment tax. Now, that $180,000 comes back again because you really shouldn't have to pay taxes on your taxes. Does that make sense? If you have to pay the tax, you shouldn't have to be paying money on the money that you have to pay the tax with. But it does, right? So somehow or another, we have to take that $180,000, the original 180, and they said, okay, you can deduct your self-employment tax multiplied by 50% or half of your self-employment tax. So this ends up being, I'm just going to write in here, $21,300.27 divided by 2. And when you divide something by 2, you take a half or 50%, right? That gives me 180,000 minus, so this will be like 10 or 11,000. Let me see, $10,650.14. Which ends up being, am I going too fast? You can slow me down. Which ends up being $169,349.86. And this is what's referred to as the adjustable net. Okay, my pen is funky again here. Adjustable net self-employment earnings or income. I've heard both words as I've read both words as I read through your book. So it uses both things. All right. Unfortunately, this wasn't the question. The question is, how much can he contribute? Well, the contribution is based on this number here. So now I need to take this number, the adjustable net self-employment earnings, and I'm going to write a little formula here for you. I'm going to say adjustable net, oh, come on, self-employment earnings. Well, you know what? I don't believe in using abbreviations and stuff when we're learning something. Because next thing you know, you're just using ANSEA, whatever, and you're instead of saying it. You know, you got to verbalize it. You got to get it to drill through your brain a little bit. Now we need to take that, multiply it by, and here's a big bracket because this is easy. And this is going to end up being that 0.20, okay? But instead of just putting 0.20, I'm going to show you where it comes from according to the formula. The formula says whatever the contribution rate is, killing me here with this. Whatever the contribution rate is, and sometimes they'll tell you the contribution rate in the problem, like 15% or 20%, but if they don't tell it to you, you automatically presume it's what number? Excellent, very good. Divided by 1 plus that same contribution rate again. Okay, that's what's coming in. Okay. So let me move you up here a little bit. Wonder where would be a good spot to move you, Ivan. I don't know. Okay, so the adjusted net self-employment, that's the 169,349.86. We're going to multiply that by the contribution rate is 25% divided by 1 plus 25%. Ivan, how do you write 25% as a decimal? Don't be sorry. 0.2. No, no, no. What is it? Read it. Yes. Did you do 25 divided by 100? Is that what you're saying? No, no, no. It's 25%. Okay, let's talk about this for a second. Watch. 25% means 25 divided by 100. Yes. And you know what's cool? Is that you had that 0.25 in your head so fast, and then you were using it to change it to a percent. You had the answer. And you were trying to find the answer with the answer. Kind of silly. Okay. But that's all right. That's good for you as long as you know. I mean, it intuitively came to you really fast. Okay, so this is 1 plus what? There you go. What is 1 plus 0.25? Okay. Now, I want you to use your handy dandy calculator, and I want you to do 0.25 divided by 1.25. What? Am I going to write 20%? What do you want me to write? Okay. And now I need to multiply that 169, that adjusted net self-employment earnings by 20%. And what is this called? Good. Yep, maximum if we had a 25% rate going on. Oh no, we're done with this part. So go ahead and ask anything you want. You told me that 1 plus 0.25 was the same thing as 1.25. Okay, so this right here that's in parentheses is the 1.25. Yep. That's okay. And the parentheses tell me to do what's inside the parentheses first, which is why we add the 1 and the 0.25. Yeah. Yep. Okay, here's another thing for you too. I'm going to just switch colors quickly and get into a green. The number 1 is really 100%. Okay, 1 whole of something is 100%. And then 25%. What is 100% added with 25%? 125%. Can you change 125% into a decimal so I can use it for calculations, please? Read it again carefully. There it is. So look, I just came out, I came about the 1.25 a different way. Yep. And you know, you can remember that any time that there's this 20%, you can remember that anytime there's this 25% contribution rate, you're going to end up using 0.20. And don't do all that work. Just if they don't give you the contribution rate, you can skip all that stuff and just multiply your self-employment earnings by or your adjusted net self-employment earnings by the 169 by the 0.20. I'm sorry. Okay. Anything else you want to talk about before I move on? So it's nice to see it again, you know, just to go through it, hear it talked all over again. Let's just talk it real quick like I'll talk it real quick like. You start with 180,000. I want to know what is the maximum contribution that we can have to our self-employment plan. So you take your 180,000 and you multiply it by that magic number, 92.35%, that neither one of us know where it comes from. Okay. And that's the same thing as taking that decimal and just moving it 2 places here to the left, and it ends up giving you this number down here, this 0.9235. Okay. Whoops. I guess I erased the 5 too, didn't I? Yeah. Okay. Okay. You multiply that by the gross earnings and you get the 180, or multiply by 180, you get 166,230. And that is considered your net earnings subject to self-employment tax. Question, is that net earnings greater than $132,900? Yes. So now we have a 2-part calculation because we are going to be taxed on a part of this money at 12.4%, and we're going to be taxed on all of the money at 2.9%. Okay. All righty. So I take 12.4% of $132,900. Remember, 12.4% as a decimal turns into this 0.124. Okay. and multiply that, you get $16,479.60. But now we also have another, I think this is kind of cool just to do this. There we go. So then we have another 2.9% out of that $169,349.86, which is called that adjustable net self-employment earnings. And that gives us an extra tax of $4,820.67. You have to add both of those taxes up. Sorry about that. And that gives us a self-employment tax of $21,300.27. We take that out, we take half of that and subtract it from the 180,000. So it's kind of weird that we can't just subtract the 21,000 from the 180,000, but you only allowed half of that. They only allow you the exemption of half of that $21,300.27. Why? I don't know, and I never will. But so now we subtract those numbers, we end up with $169,349.86. That is now our adjustable net self-employment earnings. Multiply that number by 0.20. You want me to talk through all this? Yeah, they're equivalent, synonymous. Yep. So then we multiply that by the 20% and we figure out what the maximum contribution is. Yep. I'm gonna give me 1 second. I want to do one thing on my calculator. I can't talk. 33,869.97. Okay, I'm going to show you one more thing before I leave this question, okay? And this is kind of a check. All right, so I'm gonna say check. Check that 25% contribution rate. I'm doing this because I saw it later on in your book, okay? So I want to be sure that $33,869.97, which is my maximum contributions, does indeed or is indeed equivalent to 25% of the income. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to say is 33,000 comma, I don't like the looks of that comma, is $33,869.97 out of, and here's the thing, it's not just out of 169,349, but I want to talk about $169,349.86 minus the contributions, 33,869.97. I want to do a subtraction there because, like we talked about before, it doesn't make sense to talk about my contributions inside my income. So I'm going to subtract them out. So I want to know is, well, forget is, I'll just say 33,869.97 out of, remember that phrase out of, what it means? Yeah, it's a part of, or I'm going to say divided by, I don't know if I did that back up here, did I? I know we talked about it earlier, but I don't think I'd actually, oh yeah, right here. So 92.35 out of 100, and out of meant divide. You see where I am right here? Okay. Right, out of 100 means divided by 100. That's why when you're doing your percent, you have to divide by 100. Okay, so out of means divide. I'm coming back up here. So I'm going to divide that by, now I'm actually going to do this subtraction in my calculator. 169,349.86. Take away 33,869.97. Okay. 0.89. Good job. So if I do this division, and you know what, I like it to be written like this, out of as like a fraction. $33,869.97 out of $135,479.89. Is that indeed 25%? And when I do this on my calculator, I get a long decimal, so I'm going to use a squiggly for, you know, something that's not a little shaky equal. And this gives me 0.500073,629. So it checks. Yeah, remember that when we take our maximum contribution, we're not comparing it to the 180,000 at the beginning. Okay, so otherwise we'd be able to simply take 180,000 and multiply it by 0.25 to get our maximum contribution. But you got to take all these taxes out and follow their procedure and do all this weird stuff. And yeah, I guess. Okay. Well, let's move on from here. Okay, so this puts an end to Isaiah. No, to who? Okay. Very good. I looked down and I was on a different page and I said, oh, please tell me I didn't copy something screwy. All right. So let's switch colors here. Let's just, for the sake of doing so. And now we're on page 119, like you said. Oh, I don't like fonts. I'm going to go down one. Page 119. Who are we talking about on page 119? Laura. Okay, here's Laura. Oh, yeah. Okay. So let's just say out loud here that with Laura, she has an income of $87,500 given in the problem. Okay. And they want to know what is her self-employment tax. Oh, let me get this back here. Come on, Gina. Okay, I can tap forever, but it's not letting me write. Okay. I'm not pausing. Go ahead. Talk. Yeah, I probably don't. Well, I don't know. You never know. Okay, so we already have her self-employment tax. We need to multiply by that number, that 92.35%. Okay, so we don't have her employment tax. That's the question. Okay, so she made $87,500, and we're going to multiply that by the 92.35%, which is the same thing as what? Yep, 0.9235. And do you have an answer for that by chance? Beautiful. Okay, and these are net earnings. What? Right. These are her net earnings subject to self-employment tax. Okay. Eventually, you get something called the adjusted net earnings, but not yet. Okay. Actually, we don't really have to go that far in this problem. So what do I have to ask myself at this point when I see these net earnings? Good. So is 80,806.25 greater than and what's that number? 132? And what's the answer to that? No. Okay. Okay. So what do you want to do? We can do two things or we can do one thing. It's up to you. Okay. So that's 15.3, right? We need to multiply that by the $80,806.25. And did you have an answer there? I have a 36 cents. And what's this called? Yes. Good job. And that was the question right there. It says, what's the self-employment tax? So we're done with this problem. This is true. Let me kind of show you why that is, okay? I'm going to try and give you a picture instead of talking to you and throwing numbers at you. I'm going to try and draw you a picture. I think I will, well, I'll just scroll down. So let's, if I can keep scrolling, there you go. Let's say we have $0 down here, okay? And the income keeps climbing. So we probably get to, let's say, 50,000, and we get to 100,000, and eventually 150,000. But in here someplace is $132,900. Okay, so this income keeps increasing, and then you can get up here to 200,000 and so on. These are dollars, and this whole thing is income. And gross income at that, okay? All right, so for the first 132.9 all the way up to here, for this whole amount of anybody making all the way up to here, everybody pays 15.3%. Everybody does. And then above the 32.9, you only have to pay 2.9%. So they really don't tax you a hell of a lot if you're above the 132.9. Okay, now that is mathematically equivalent to this. I'm going to draw you another picture. Okay, everybody goes all the way up like this, and everybody pays the, you know what, I should do the other way first because it comes first in the story. Okay, so from here to here, you know what, Ivan? The 2.9 is all of this. You know, give me 1 second. I've got to get my thoughts straight. Okay. This is better. Okay. So this is one situation. I'm going to put it in green right here. No, come on, green. I said, didn't I say green? You didn't listen to me. So this is one situation where you pay 12.4% on everything up to 132.9. But you also have to pay 2.9% on everything. So it's like this stuff in here is double taxed. Anything below 132.9 gets the 12.4, but also gets the 2.9. It's true. I mean, that's exactly what happens. Okay. Here's another situation which is identical to it. I'm going to go back to the red, and this is what that 15.3 is all about. Okay. So if instead of thinking of the 12.4 and the 2.9, if you just wanted to go, let me see if I can just move this here for a minute. Let me think. I got to get this in my head right before I do it to you, okay? Okay. So here's the 132.9. If you go up here from 0 to 132.9, 15.3%. And then from here higher, 2.9%. Looks like a what? No, because never do you pay the 15.3 and the 2.9 at the same time. Never are they piggybacked on each other. So this, let me switch here to a different color. I just switched to highlighter. Notice that these lines are, oh, come on, I switched to a highlighter. Okay. You see this 132.9 caps right here, and you see that together, the 132.9 is subject to not only the 12.4%, but also the 2.9%. That's where this 15.3 goes, as long as you have 132.9 to play with. Anything above 132.9 is only taxed at a 2.9% rate. No. Okay. True. Yes. Yep. Let's do a quick example of it. You want me, Mike? No? Okay. Let's do a quick example of it. I'm gonna pick up a number. I'll use the 200,000. I'll switch colors here. I'm gonna go for purple. Okay. It the it's not 2.97. That's a percent sign for me. It's 2.9%. It is all the way through. It is all the way through. From here to here, the 2.9 and the 12.4 are doubled on each other. And if you double 12.4 and 2.9, you don't double it, but you piggyback it. If you put together 12.4% and 2.9%, that gives you the 15.3% right there. Okay, so I know that we didn't talk about this before, but I just want you to understand where it's coming from. So I want to do a little example, okay? So let's go, for example, let's talk about just 200,000. Okay, so I could do 12.4% of 132,900, and then I could do 2.9% of the whole entire what? Okay, so I'm going to do both of those, and then I'm going to add it up. Now, before I grab my calculator, I'm just going to come over here and set this one up. Over here, still the same example, okay, of 200,000. I'm going to get the same answer on both these things, okay? I'm going to take 15.3% of how much? Nope. Yep, 130. Is it 139.2 or 132.9? Go ahead. And then I'm going to take what? Of what? No? No? I don't know. What am I taking the 2.9% of? How much is up here? I don't know. What'd you say? Uh-huh. Right. So how much is above I just amount above 132.9? So how much is above 132.9? Give me a dollar. No, I know I made 200,000. Come on, use it, 200,000. So how much is above 132.9? If I made 200,000, how much above 132.9 is that? Say it again. I didn't hear you. 67,100. Okay. It's funny how you said that out loud a minute ago and you knew it was wrong. You didn't even finish it. Okay, so if I do this math, I get the same thing. How is that possible? Hold on. Yeah, I'm going to get the same answer. So let's do it. Let's do 12.4% times 132.9. Did you move your decimal? No, 0.124. Or I don't know what you're doing. You could be doing 12.4 divided by 100, are you? And did you get any numbers yet? 2.4. That doesn't, I don't know what that means. On your calculator, do 0.124 times 132,900. Are you dividing? I don't know what you're doing. Yeah. Times, times, times. Yeah. But you're multiplying, okay? Okay. So 16,479. It's $16,479.60. Now, can you get 2.9% of 200,000 for me? Right here, 2.9%. So 0.29, 0.029. I don't know if I said that right to you before or not. Yeah. Yes. Okay, so this is 5800. I'm going to add those up. 16,479.60. Good job. So that would be my tax on 200,000. And this is the way your book tells you to do it, okay? Okay, now the other way. 15.3 multiplied by 132.9. 15.3%. So like 0.153. It should be 20,000 something. Times 132,900. No. What did you type in there? Yeah. Yeah. 132900. Yeah. I don't know what 20% is all about, but well, you're thinking 20% of the 200,000? Yeah, well, it's 15% of 132.9. Okay. Okay, so I just want you to understand where that 15.3 is coming from. All right, so if your income is lower than $132,900, then you don't even play with the 2.9. Okay? You don't have to, as long as you use the 15.3%. Or if you wanted to, you could come over here and you could do 12.4% and 2.9% and add them up. So either way, but that is where the book comes with the 15.3, because they can add those 12.4 and 2.9 percentages in their head. Of course, they don't tell you what the hell they're adding in their head. They just show up with the 15.3 and expect you to know where it came from. They don't even say 15.3%. They just say 0.153 and hope you got all of it. Yep. Well, the reason I brought this second method up to you is because we did something in the past where it was a progressional tax. And, for the first chunk, it was this, and the next chunk, it was that, and so on. So I don't know why the book doesn't teach you to do 15.3 and then do this subtraction here and find out the amount above 132.9. But either way works. Yep. Okay. So the 2.9 you pay on all of your income, and the 12.4 you pay on the first 132.9. Which really means you got to pay 15.3 on the first 132.9 and 2.9 on anything after. Okay, let's do another example. Let's get out of this and let's go back to the book, okay? Let's see. We have done Abel and Laura, right? Who's next? Okay, what color do you want to go for this time? Orange. Okay. Here we go. So now we're talking Dimitri, right? I like the name Dimitri. I still like it. And this is, let's get my sequence correctly here. This is page 119. And this is Dimitri. So you can go back in and you can look through and see what it said. The question says that he has a net income. Yeah, I don't know why it says net instead of gross. I want to know, like, oh well. And he has paid self-employment taxes. $21,263. Okay. And there is a 15% contribution of salary. contribution. Okay, so we want to know how much is this? How much? Okay, so notice how I read a problem and I write down the given information that's pertinent to me, and I also write down the question. Okay, so I'm kind of like, I don't know, paraphrasing, interpreting the problem, the whole thing. Okay. All right, now I want to know why that $21,263 was given to me, because I know we can figure out the self-employment taxes. However, when I do the math behind it, I don't get 21,263. So we're going to let it go. Okay. You don't try to figure out something if the number's given to you. You simply use it. Okay. It could be a typo. It could be the teacher's making it up and doesn't feel like doing that part and just makes up a number to give you. Okay. So you're just going to let that go. Now we want to know, how much is that 15% going to be? So let's check it out. What do we have to do first? Okay, so we have to deduct 1/2 of the taxes. So this is net income minus the self-employment tax. Goodbye, baby. I love you. Hold on, Ivan. The self-employment tax divided by 2. So this is 205,000 minus 21263 divided by 2. And I noticed that your book tends to round things, so I will as well. This is 10,632. Okay. All right, so I do that subtraction, and what do we get? Yeah. And what is this called? True. We're going to call it the adjusted net. Okay, self-employed income, because your book does. Right, and we already had a net income someplace else, right? Up here, this formula, net income. Sometimes they use the word earnings instead of income. All right, now what do I do with this thing? Yeah. Yeah, I'm just writing some words. Remember this formula? I wrote it earlier in one of the first problems we did with Abel. I just thought it would be good to write it again. Good. Okay, so this is 194,368. Now, do I just say times 0.20 here? Can I jump there? Can I just jump to say times 0.20 here? No. Why not? Good, 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 good. Okay, what is the contribution rate? All right. What do I do now? What do I write in my brackets here? I don't know. Okay, that's correct. Can you're ahead of me a step. Can you tell me what to write in place of 1 plus 15%? Okay, so you said 0.15 divided by, what'd you say? Okay, so this up here is like 115%. Okay, do that. Okay, so this is still good. So you're ahead of me a little bit, which is good. I was trying to see if you could get there, and then you just went there. And this gives me that 0.1304 you're talking about. And you do that out, and what do you get? Right. So the answer in the book says $25,352 for the employee contribution. To the the self-employment plan, right? Okay. How could we check and see if this is right, Ivan? Well, uh, okay, so what we're going to do is this. We're going to take the employment contribution, which is 25,352, and we're going to divide it by, because this is the dollar amount that we're contributing, we're going to divide it by this net earnings. No, net, the adjusted net income, right? The adjusted net self-employed income. So we're going to take that, which is the 194,368 minus my contributions, because I shouldn't be taxed on my contributions. 25,352. So I'm going to put that in my calculator. Check your numbers. What did you divide? You should have what I have. Yeah. I boxed my answer before. I was checking my answer now. All right, that's Dimitri. Want to go for one more and we quit? What's on page 120? Let's do it anyway. Who is it? Go ahead. So you say it's all kind of laid out for us. There's really not a question, is there? Okay, so let's just run through the numbers and see if we can make it work. Let's just see if we can come up with this 37,872 with this given information, okay? All right, so we're going to start with the 200,000. What are we going to do with it? What's that called? Don't abbreviate for me. Subject. Good. Now what? Okay, good. Something must be off a little bit. It's $21,835.90. Okay. Now, I'm pretty sure that somebody is just calling this 21,835. I don't like that, but they certainly are truncating that 90 cents, okay? Now what? No, they rounded off. They truncated means cut it right off. They just said, forget you. Wait, you should say truncate. Truncate, which is just means cut it off, but it doesn't mean round it off, okay? Okay, so now you're getting back to that 200,000 again, right? And you're saying minus this number. Okay, so they use $10,917, which I don't like, but that's because they rounded this to a 35 instead of a 36, which made the difference of $1 later on. All right, yeah. They use 83 in the calculations, okay? They're using a 3 because they got that 7 there. Yeah, if you round a little bit in the beginning, it's going to affect the rounding as you go through a problem. I don't think they should be rounding. I think they should be more accurate until they get to the end, but no one cares what I think. No one called me up and asked my opinion on this. What is this 189,083? What's this thing called? Adjusted what? Okay. Now what do we do with that? You did? Did he? I gave you a contribution rate of 25%, so he does get the full percent. So what do we do with this? You should remember that number. Yep. Hey, Ivan, this is his self-employed individual contribution, right? Very good. How, I was just going to say, how can we check this really fast? Yep. We want the adjusted net self-employed income, which is what number? Minus, no, minus the individual contribution. It's okay. I mean, you don't pay taxes on your contribution. One would think you won't pay taxes on your taxes either, but I don't know. Maybe you do. I guess you do. Pay taxes on all the money that you make, and then you have to spend the taxable money that you have to pay the tax. Yeah. And that, you divide that, you get 0.25. You can't get any closer than 25% to that. Than that. Yeah. You're very welcome. Listen, I'll call you and we'll chat a little bit later on, but it'll take a while for this video to process, okay? It's about an hour and a half long, hour and 24 minutes, 25 minutes. All right, Ivan. I will talk to you soon, okay? Oh, wait, I almost forgot. One last thing that I put on the end of all my videos, so I can't stop it. And I'm going to do this in funky color here. Nice and big. Alan out. Whoop, whoop. Bye, Ivan.